3, 2, 1.
Right, so yeah, I changed my mind and decided I'm going to stream right up until the Snyder Cut release. So we'll just see what's going on now. It currently is a performance from Chris Doherty, a song inspired by Superman. So yeah, I just figured I'd work ahead and turn up the volume a little bit, and if we get in trouble later, oh well. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, so after this, there is a segment about the Joker, and then there will be a Jim Lee portfolio review. Then we have a surprise panel, and then a Batman section, and then we're onto the Snyder Cut. So we're getting there. This is a cool song though. Hoping maybe I can get that myself at some point. Maybe download it somewhere. But I'm assuming this is fine since everybody can just go watch it anyway. It's better without the light. Ooh. Oh, it's a nice collection.
I just love how the DC fandom is connecting fans from across the globe. We are all so different, but today we all have one thing in common: our love for DC superheroes. Okay, turning things over to
I love for those DC superheroes.
Take it away.
Thanks, Damian. It's Clara here from the UK, and it is great to be here with all of you. And what an amazing show so far. Are you guys having fun? I know you are, but do make sure you tweet us using the hashtag DCFandom and let us know how we're doing. Now, when I think about our beloved
I think they're doing a good job, actually.
I think about how inspirational they all are. I'm talking Superman, Wonder Woman, all of them I love. Look, you can see they always put a massive smile on my face.
It's the Trinity.
Now let's get this party started! There are so few surprises.
DC villains are the best.
This is gonna hurt.
Kneel before Zod.
Oh, I love it! The chaos is so invigorating!
Now, we should have known those guys
Bats.
wouldn't take a day off from all the mischief and all the mayhem. And let's just be honest, no one loves the spotlight more than a DC supervillain. So, it looks like it's time for the Hall of Heroes to become the Hall of Villains. And personally,
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom,
has got the best, the Joker, who has undergone
I disagree with her there.
since his debut in 1940. And although I wouldn't want him plotting against me, I have to say, his choice in lipstick is pretty much perfect. So, let's put a smile on our faces and have an in-depth
Big
look
smile.
at one of the best baddies ever. Here's the Joker.
You can call me Joker.
The Joker is the greatest supervillain ever created.
I
True
was
that.
a fan of the comic books, and particularly of the Joker.
Oh, they got Jack. Brilliant.
Biblical time, David and Goliath to Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty. I thought the stronger the villain, the stronger the hero. The Joker sprang into mind because cards were a big part of my family.
It is that carnival mask of a clown that hides the
Forgot
horror
to,
lurking just below the surface.
The Joker
Dashboard up
is
for
a
this one.
horrific version of Batman, whereas Batman scares criminals, Joker scares the ordinary people.
In the 1950s, you have a censorship movement which leads to the Comics Code Authority, which really is why all characters in the 1950s get goofy and weird.
Oh.
The writers and
We're learning.
artists of the era felt very restricted. It was a dark time for America. There was an urgent need for heroes.
1966's Batman became a pop art campy comedy. Cesar Romero's playful.
It'd be good if with everything going on we got a new superhero that was actually good.
As culture took a turn for the revolutionary, writer Denny O'Neil introduced the idea that the Joker was truly insane.
We undid 15, 20 years of lousy comics code. So you got a tremendous amount of experimenting.
It left the way for people like me, Alan Moore, to do stories that were beyond the understanding of an 8-year-old.
When will we get to see Mark Hamill?
Showed us how deep the Joker's depravity could go.
It's basically a horror story. The Killing Joke was the first time that anybody really started taking
Killing Joke is brilliant.
It's epic. It's Joker's magnum opus.
Here he is.
The Joker stories of the 1980s set the stage for a Joker that would twist the theatrical, colorful with the violence and insanity.
Jack Nicholson as the Joker, that was just everybody's first choice. It goes beyond your expectations just because he's so good.
Even in my own life, people have said, well, sometimes Jack, relax with the humor.
Oh, I got a live one here.
This does not apply to the Joker.
Gotham City was brought to younger audiences in 1992 when Batman, the animated series, debuted on Fox Kids.
One of the things that
I have to rewatch them at some point.
is his laugh. His laugh should be like a musical instrument. It should illustrate his mood.
We struck a nice balance between the clown and the killer and really made him a scary character.
Filmmaker Christopher Nolan elevated the comic book film. The gritty, realistic,
Except for that bobblehead movement.
called for a villain who could challenge him in a way no one else could. From the outset, the choice was clear.
And to me, it was creating a sort of psychologically credible anarchist, a purposeless criminal, a psychopath. To me, that is the most frightening form of evil.
It's somebody without any rules whatsoever. Somebody whose motive is just...
I wonder how much of this is like filmed quite a while ago.
Joker would exist in the way that he does in our movie.
You complete me.
Oh, here he is.
One of those rare opportunities you get to reinterpret, bring back to life some character that provides some counterpoint to the good of the
Morbius.
The trick was to be incredibly respectful.
We sold this
and
out.
At the same time, reinvent the Joker.
I still would have liked to have seen a bit more of his Joker.
When comedian Zach
I don't think it was given enough time.
The clown prince of crime, bringing his own brand of humor to the role and new meaning to the words, "You complete me."
They do depend on each other. And what would happen if they both took a step
Oh man,
back
I
and understood
always thought Will Arnett would actually be a really good Joker. I mean, he has the hairline.
The Joker had been taken in brave new directions, but there was still room to push the character even further.
I have never really thought about doing a comic book movie. For me, it was more about this idea of doing a film, but about somebody people have no idea who, what, where he came from.
It's a wonderful exploration to take probably the most famous villain. What happens if we humanize this person?
Yeah, it's a very good movie.
Transformation is finding his voice, finding Joker.
You should tell I'm not biased.
Prior to the emergence of Joker, he's struggling with what it is that he wants to say, how he wants to say it.
every kid loves this guy. And I particularly love just the name, Joker. It's fantastic.
There's no definitive Joker. He will be reinterpreted long after I'm gone because he's just such a great character.
It'd be interesting to see if they bring in more than one Joker into the movies.
Who knew the Joker had such a rich history? But hang on a minute, of course you guys did. You're all the experts. Now, Jim Lee is an expert in all things DC. He is a world-renowned comic book artist,
He is indeed.
writer, editor, and publisher. And he's got his eye on some supervillain art. Take a look.
Hello
everyone. This is Jim Lee again. I'm here with Mohammed Haq, and we are going over his fabulous submissions
good hat.
to the DC fandome. He is a big Batman fan, and he has a day job, so he does this spectacular artwork in his spare time. And I'm just going to kind of give him some feedback, and
some of his stuff is
kind of
unreal.
encourage him to keep pushing himself, as we should all push ourselves as we try to become and strive to become better artists. And you are here in the U.S.?
This should
California, LA.
Okay.
be over in about
yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's all good.
5 minutes, I think, and then there's a surprise DC panel. So
first off, let me just
that's to look forward to after this.
Thank you very much for submitting your work to DC fandom. I loved all your.
Yeah, I don't think you can beat the DC.
Is this something that you're doing now?
Comic book art
professionally. Can you talk a little bit about your work, and do you do panel to panel work too, or is it all just single images, covers, that kind of thing?
I pretty much draw or paint digitally for fun, as a hobby. I'm a creative director.
And that's a dream, really, if you get a job doing what you just enjoy doing.
Figures, pretty much art directing or doing concepts.
It seems like some of these are like almost like poster images. Walk me through like this one, like.
Mr. Freeze is such a cool character. I seen artists draw his costume to be very simple, but I want to see him in more of a armor type, even more.
Yeah, I always think they should fix the dome roof.
And then, even as you're doing this,
dome helmet.
Are you imagining it in color, even though this is a black and white or tonal drawing?
No, actually, when I draw, I don't think in color at all. I just draw a sketch, and once I'm done, if I feel like, you know what, I could add some color to it, then I'll add some color to it.
The reason why I asked you if thought in color as you did this is because in my head, I'm seeing this in color, right? I'm seeing like this as a pencil drawing and create the light source using color. I love the tonal graduations, but maybe if there was if the light source are here, like coming out of this gun, what happens to this part of the figure with a stronger light source there, right? This part here, like, suggests to me like you were on this path of, hey, there's light up here, and it's casting this shadow of this torso on this kind of pelvic area. If it were brighter here, and then here,
it's good to learn some stuff.
Just in general, like on this side.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be watching the
and then
the pet cosplays when that's on.
Maybe that arm, like.
Totally.
What inspired this?
The first issue of Deceased.
That's cool.
Other things could have done to maybe get focus up here, where it starts getting like more out of focus at the bottom, like a little more painterly. It's just something to think about. I just think your use of color and textures, creating that glistening kind of gum line, it's really really well done.
Yeah.
But again,
it'd be amazing to be able to draw like that.
It gets a little darker around the fringes.
No, I get what you're saying.
Right. So
we're focusing on the eye right now, right?
Yeah.
So focused, you're not sure what you're looking at.
What happens if you play around with that? I'm trying to have like that light streaming off to the side, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Just 2 seconds, like, yeah, fix your picture.
Kind of play around with the contrast, the values of your colors, right? Push it more to the extremes. You're really super solid in this middle ground. What happens if you push the extremes of light and dark to the image? So things to think about as you do it, but really, really solid piece. So this Joker piece, same thing with Mr. Freeze. You've got the lettering in here. I feel like you started and then kind of stopped. You were in there, maybe you were gonna go all the way to the top, and then you're like, I've said my piece. I know what would look like. Generally, you should use it as a real part of the composition, right? Even though it's lettering, right? And what kind of shape it occupies, and it just kind of fits naturally in the same.
Yeah, so it should be about 1 more minute of this, I think, and then
kind of creates this
the surprise panel. So
and I kind of wonder if
see what that is.
You have something like that, and then maybe the all that.
Seems like DC are gonna treat the fans
or something
quite a bit with
right,
this.
where all the lettering.
he creates the bat symbol or something like that.
Oh yeah, or even like a or even his shadow, right?
Right.
Like if he's uplit, and then in the coloring of it, the lettering would be darker, and that's how you would see that shadow.
Right.
Just something to think about. You know, I think because if you're going to add the lettering, I feel like, you know, once you start, you got to think it through and say, okay, what am I doing with the lettering? What role does it play in the composition? What kind of extra thing does
I wonder
what does it unlock? And I think it unlocks a lot. I'll just end with this one.
how much you would have to pay to get lessons with Jim Lee on how to draw.
Vibe from it, but I also love the way you did the coloring, and I think you did push.
I'm not going to Google it right now.
The that thin white highlight on the edge is just perfect. You know, it really picks it up, and you know, it's
there's not much to be done with that one.
You have a red kind of light across all of it, and that's the kind of stuff I love. You know, it's not about local color; it's about colors interacting with the light that's on them. And I think you just really nailed it, and the expression, and even again the subtlety of her, you know, kind of her hand gesture. I think you really sold it in this one, and that's why you know that also really works for me as well, right? You know, Mom, I want to thank you for sharing your talent with us. You know, I looked through all the submissions, and I picked my 5 favorite, and your work really stood out to me as something really unique and special. And I hope that you
that's how it was
do
done.
more of it beyond just, you know, as
a hobby
or for fun. I think there's a lot of
you should definitely sell them,
and just little things like would elevate it to like the next level up. And just ask that you think about it and maybe challenge yourself next time you sit down and draw.
No, I really appreciate it, Jim. I really do. It means a lot. I'll say I'm self-taught drawing and coloring, all that, but it's your work that actually helped me get where I am right now when it comes to drawing.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. It's very flattering.
Yeah.
He probably gets that a lot.
Those art submissions were scary good. Now, from the page to the screen, actors and artists bring these DC supervillains to life, and in real life, cosplayers do the same thing.
Oh, here we go. There's always a Harley. Yeah, we don't get to see enough of Lobo. It takes some amount of time to put those costumes together. Okay, so that should be that one.
Wow, seeing those incredible costumes makes me realize.
Oh, there's one of the pet ones I didn't really want to see.
My game this Halloween.
Ciao dall'Italia, mi chiamo Andrea De Logo. It's great to be here with all of you in DC fandom, the ultimate destination for all of us who can never get enough DC. And now, there is even more to love with the new comic series from Milestone.
Okay, so this must be the
Welcome to DC Fandom, and this Milestone Media panel. My name is
Batman and Batman.
I've written on TV shows like Castle Rock and Carnival Row and Star Trek Picard, and I co-host a podcast named Fat Man Beyond, and another one named Battlestar Galactica. And people written
Yeah, I
comics.
forgot to change the name for that.
Short run on Static Shock, but today we're talking about the history of Milestone, as well as taking a glimpse into the future the publishing initiative started in 1993 by Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis, and Derek T. Dingle to challenge the status quo, how superhero stories were being told, as well as the ones who got to tell them. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff in the next few minutes, but before we do that, let's introduce our panelists. We got Reggie Hudlin, Milestone Media, Dennis Cowan, co-founder of Milestone Media, Jim Lee, Chief Creative Officer and publisher of DC Comics, and Phil Lamar, the voice of everybody under the sun, including Virgil Hawkins, Static Shock. Hey, fellas, how are you?
Great.
We're good. Well, thank you for taking the time.
I'd love to see a live-action Static Shock TV show.
And I assume it's near and dear to yours. Dennis,
It's not the same as Black Lightning.
A little bit about the early days at Milestone.
It actually started at San Diego Comic-Con. I don't remember the year. It's probably like 1990 or something. I'm at Comic-Con. And the idea of starting
Just gonna have some
doing
coffee.
black superheroes or doing a group of black superheroes was something that was on my mind a lot. So I called my friend Michael Davis, who happened to be at the con. And I said, meet me downstairs in the lobby.
That's
We
good.
walk around the whole convention, the whole convention area. And I'm pitching him my idea about doing a black comic book company.
So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to apologize in advance for when the Snyder Cut comes on, because I get super
It could
stoked.
work. It could be a black comic company. So he says,
I don't know who still
okay,
says
well, who else
stoked.
do you want in? I said, let's call Dwayne. Dwayne McDuffie happened to be at that convention. So I called Dwayne. He met us downstairs in the lobby. The three of us walked around the same block. Serious. And
So this one should, this segment should take up about.
He said, so what do you think? And he said, you're crazy. Nobody's going to be a black comic company.
About.
So I'm in.
About 30 minutes, roughly.
Dwayne and I have worked on
Well, the next section's the
and various projects at Marvel, but mostly Deflon.
The voices behind Batman. So that starts at about 10 past 10.
My friend Derek Dingle, that I knew since 3rd grade, he worked at Black Enterprise in.
Say about 20 minutes from now, actually.
So he must know about business. And he wore a top. It's the truth. So we called.
Again, that section's only about another 20 minutes, and then we have
really how it started.
the Snyder Cut.
Dwayne's involvement early on, when my idea was to do a black comic company full of black characters, and if black people bought it, great. His idea was to expand that and make it inclusive to a lot of marginalized people who are underrepresented in comics. He took my idea and just boom, blew it up to a much bigger tent than it originally was. It expanded our universe and it set us on a path that we're still following now.
Reggie, talk a little bit about Dwayne McDuffie. I mean, he was one of comics' greatest storytellers, and a gift he would take to animation as well. But talk about, his legacy a bit and his influence and impact on the visions and goals of Milestone.
Well, I mean, first,
I don't think Mark Bernardin gets enough props really for what he does.
Meeting Milestone story from the outside, which is, I met Dennis, and he was, one of the first comic book professionals I met who was actually my friend. And he would take me to Comic-Cons, like he took me to San Diego for the first time. He took me to New York Comic Convention. I didn't know anyone. I'd never been to one. They didn't have comic conventions in St. Louis, where I grew up. So I was just new with all this and very.
It's been really enjoyable so far. All of this.
They started Milestone. I was excited because I was like, "Oh, this is a great."
Just double check now what time the
it's like all the most talented.
See, after Snyder Cut, I think that'll be the kind of high point of these 2 days anyway. So.
When you looked at Def Jam,
I mean, there's the Flash TV panel, but
that same idea being expressed in a lot of different places.
I like the TV show, but I'm not like.
Free, and 80s was time for black folks.
Can't imagine there being a whole lot of news on that one. But Black Adam is on at 10 past 11, so maybe I'll hang around to that.
And talking to Dennis and Dwayne, and these are folks who I was fans of. I remember reading their Deathlock book and like.
Yeah, and then after that, really, I mean, there's
they were starting their own company and
Aquaman and
phone calls from Clarence Thomas,
some more Wonder Woman and
their character Icon, and I was like, what? And like,
Shazam.
We thought it was a prank call, and then we called back, and then they said Supreme Court. And they're like, what?
So the Batman panel's on at like 1:30 in the morning, which.
But more importantly, they created beautiful characters.
It's gonna be an awkward one to get that, but I think they do.
Me coming from the movie business, and we were,
seems like they play some of them again tomorrow afternoon, so I'll probably come on tomorrow afternoon and catch them again.
I saw these guys fighting to make a way in comics. I was like, yeah, do it. And then they were like, well, Reggie, why don't you?
It says encore, so I don't know if they're adding extra stuff or not, or if it's just the same as it was today.
Day job before I start doing stuff on the side, so I stupidly passed on a chance to join Milestone from the beginning. But what they did was amazing work.
We did ask him.
Good to see Kevin Conroy in the voice of the Batman one.
On everything, and we kind of tried to pressure him into doing it. And he had to beg off and stuff. But I asked him 5 years later if he could do it, just to see if he had changed his mind, and he had.
You want to buy this Apple stock? Nah, man, I'm leveraged.
I don't want this Tesla stock. Who's going to buy electric?
Why you want a phone? There's no wire to it. You know?
Jim, you were across the street starting up Wildstorm at the time, right?
Yeah, well, a part of Image Comics. It was right around the same time, I think like 92, 93, right?
Yeah.
And it was like a West Side Story, actually. You know, like,
It's good to get a bit of a history lesson in.
Wait, no. We're starting up an imprint. And actually, it was a lot of the same kind of thinking, right? It's like we're a bunch of artists. It was United Artists, right? It was 6, 7 artists that worked at Marvel that basically said, look, we don't want to work for the company anymore. We'll take our, you know, we want to kind of grab destiny by our own hands.
Yep.
And we
Stay away from Marvel.
We have no business
Oh,
experience.
Marvel's not too
skills,
bad,
but
but
we didn't go to a guy like Derek. We just did it without a business guy. So that was kind of the two different paths that we took initially. But I remember that first Comic-Con when they announced Milestone.
it's basically the same as Xbox versus PlayStation.
And there were no parties at Comic-Con back in the day, right? It was like you just wandered around trying to find like open hotel rooms where people had like, you know, case of beers and you just kind of hang out. And they actually threw a party at a club, and I'm like, who do these guys think they are? Like, you know, and they were all like dressed up in suits and stuff. I'm like what's wrong with our tie-dye jeans and our mullets and, you know, what's going on? You trying to show us up? Like,
Can't picture him with a mullet.
Looking back on it, they were incredible. Like, look, they were thinking beyond just the world of publishing and comics. They wanted to present something that was bigger than that. And they had a very different take on it. And so, yeah, I think I was kind of jealous of the fact that they had style and panache. And, you know, we were just drawing big characters like grimacing and jumping out. So, but that was a really magical time because there was a lot of electricity, a lot of like creativity. And Dwayne was a guy that took a lot of chances creatively with his work. I remember the stuff he did with Epic, Shadowmine. I did some work there just because I liked what he was doing there. And so it was a really great kind of golden era for people going out and doing stuff that was new.
That first Comic-Con,
Yeah, it must have been great.
Jim is being a little bit disingenuous here because what they did.
Yeah, awesome to go to Comic-Con at some point.
Introduced us to the public. You don't remember that, but there's photos of it. The Image crew with us, we're all in suits, but the Image guys didn't have no suits on. And they're presenting.
We're lucky to have a shirt on, honestly. That's the truth. That's a separate panel, but that's the truth.
No. I remember thinking we chose the suits and all that.
Yeah.
Because we thought, okay, the Image guys and everything was Image. They could wear T-shirts and stuff because they're white dudes. They could do it on the
mostly.
Right? We're gonna have to try extra hard to be taken half as seriously. So that's why we wore the suits and stuff. None of us.
You guys had passes. It was exclusive. You couldn't just come in and walk in. You actually had to. It was like, what? It was cool. Way ahead of its time, both conceptually, creatively, and marketing-wise, for sure.
That's just brothers at a club.
No time at the Apollo. Phil, how aware were you of Milestone before you took on the role of Virgil Hawkins in the Emmy-winning, Humanitas Prize-winning Static Shock animated series?
Actually, and it's sort of embarrassing, I was not real. I mean, I knew about it because I was a comic book head from way back, the early 90s.
I used to enjoy watching that when I was younger.
Trying to make, you know, my bones as an actor. So I didn't have the money to be buying new comics. I was still reading all my old 20-cent stuff. So I didn't hear about Milestone until after it was launched. And it was like, oh, wait, what? You know, like, you know, that one day you got an extra $5 in your pocket. Let me go to my local shop. Because, of course, there wasn't the internet. So you didn't have access to information. And I didn't have no subscription to Wizard or nothing. You know, I was trying to date. See, people forget. There was a time when being a nerd was not cool.
Absolutely.
Crucial.
Right?
Crucial.
So I saw it on the shelves, but I didn't know the story behind it. It's like, ooh, those are characters of color. That's different. This is a cool new look. I've never seen anything like this.
Coming to it from the outside, as you did, you know, who was Virgil to you? Like, what made him special?
To me, Virgil was what I had always wished for as a comic book kid growing up. Black Spider-Man. Because you read those stories, and obviously, a good story can make you live it, feel it. You know, it doesn't have
I haven't
to
read
look
many
like
of the
it,
comics, but the
when it does,
The
it
animated show was
resonates
good.
on a whole other level. And for me, the issues of Static, it was so real world. The texture of those stories was so much more removed from the old 1930s. We are exhibiting the world. Like, it felt like a comic book drawn by somebody who lived in a building that I could go into. You know what I'm saying? So that to me was the big difference. It touched on the archetypes that I, as a old school comic book fan, loved and honored, but it also touched on my life as a black man in the real world. Like,
More
I've never
copy.
had these two things come together before.
All right, we got a fan question here from Aaron M. Specifically, I think for you, Reggie. Is there any discussion about bringing the milestone characters to the big or small screens? You know, what's new and what's upcoming in the multimedia front?
Well,
Probably are going to do that.
About is, we really want to live up to the name of the company, Milestone Media. So when we, spoke with Jim about reviving the Milestone line, we said, look,
I don't think Static was in any of the games.
Has been,
Should
hit
have been.
comic books and a hit animated series. It's time to expand back into all those areas and then some. So we're in serious conversations about, as we're launching the comic book series, developing a Static Shock movie. That'll be a theatrical feature film. What we're talking about is unbelievable. We're also talking to all the other divisions of Warner's. For example, the animation department. They make those amazing animated feature films for home entertainment. And we're talking about doing one of those feature films, involving the Milestone characters.
I think they should have really put him into the Gotham TV show.
And doing a series of stories that will be available on podcasts. So you know what? We will deliver Milestone,
or at least a version of
wherever you are, on whatever platform you want. Whether you're a young kid, whether you're an adult, whether you're a teen, we'll find appropriate stories and get them to wherever you want to consume them.
Well, I'm just saying, for that movie, talk to Scorsese for me, would you? Talk to Scorsese. They got the technology, I can play 14.
Or Static needs a dad.
Fantastic.
How can I get that shirt?
Do you have an extra? Because you gave it to me. What, 25 years ago or something?
Yeah, we're talking about everything and everything and anything under the sun, even YA content, right? This is something that we couldn't envision decades ago, but it's a critical part of the audience, underserved by us, historically. Having YA content out there for the first time would be very exciting. And obviously, all the other stuff, the merch, the T-shirts. We get Phil a new T-shirt after all these years. I feel bad you've been wearing the same one for 20 years.
And it still fits. That's the beauty. What's great is working with Jim.
I don't think I'll ever have a T-shirt last 25 years.
At Wildstorm, at DC, who really understands the importance of what Milestone means and has been supportive at every part of the process. And we were very excited about the future of Static Shock, Icon and Rocket. So many great characters that we feel will exist.
I like the way they have their chat bar there as well, so you can see like all the artwork and what fans are thinking.
Do you have any future plans to officially distribute the original Milestone titles?
Yeah, I think we've part of this panel is to
obviously we like money.
Share those plans. Right now, we're looking at a February of 21 relaunch for the line, and Reggie's going to speak to that a little bit, as well as Dennis. But as far as the back catalog, every single month leading up to February, we're going to release more of the backlist catalog out through our digital partners like Comixology and Apple and Google Play. Check it out. It's super exciting, and we'll see you in February.
Dennis, we had a fan question here from Owen Seiler. Will we ever get to see another Static Shock comic again?
Yes, we will absolutely get to see another Static Shock comic book again. Static is the first name.
I'm starting to feel like nobody's actually asking those questions.
Hardware and everything else.
DC asking.
To talk about Static and what we can do. So that was for Reggie. So yeah, as far as Static Shock's concerned, we're very excited about Static. There's the original OGN, the graphic novel by Reggie Hudlin and Kyle Baker, which we're very excited about. But there's also a digital first Static Shock series that's coming out in February. It'll be available digitally first by an artist that we can't name yet, but we're very excited. If we could get him, we'll be so excited. And You know, Reggie's doing excellent scripts. He's also really outlining a lot of what's going on in our series. So the Static Shock series is going to have a lot of input from Reggie. So the short answer is yes, there's going to be more Static Shock comics. In fact, probably more Static Shock comics than even I was prepared for.
Reggie, can you talk
Might be a good time to get back into reading.
What else is in store for Milestone?
Well, you know, it's funny because, you know, everyone has their favorites. And, you know, Dennis is like, hardware, man, we're not respecting hardware. And I love
10 past 10 here, so...
It's funny because in some of the early years, Dwayne McDuffie was says, Reggie,
About 5 minutes and I'm like, the voice of the Batman will be on.
But who I love the most, Icon and Rocket. Those are my favorites. I love those characters so much. It's such a unique concept. This man who's actually a 300-year-old alien who's here on Earth, who ends up partnering with a 14-year-old girl from the hood. They end up fighting crime together. Not as sidekicks, as partners. I got to tell you, the stories that I'm writing and that
well, you can't have two sidekicks.
Are unbelievable. I love, you know,
not at all.
Looking at the scanner when Dennis's pages come in, you're like, oh, you made that look cool. Yeah. Oh, so it's always fun for us to work together, and it's great.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent update on Static Shock.
Working on that was a trip. The first artist we got fell a little bit behind, so I came in and took on a story arc for Icon and Rocket. Very casually, like, yeah, I could do Icon and Rocket, no problem. Then I realized, except for the covers, I had never drawn Icon and Rocket. And like a story.
I wonder will the DC universe end up going in and bringing all these movies out after, like Marvel,
and aside from posters,
after the original Avengers.
In any significant way. So now I found myself having to draw this character that I really didn't know how he moved and how he really worked. So I had to figure all that out and pretend like I had it in the bag the whole time.
I mean, they don't really have to have phases now with the whole Flashpoint movie coming out.
Why they got me on Icon and Rock? Where's hardware?
So wait, so to recap, a cool Static Shock OGN by Reggie and Kyle Baker, a new ongoing Static digital first comic, an Icon and Rocket comic written by Reggie and drawn by Dennis Cowan. Absolutely no hardware. But also new content. We're talking about new characters being introduced, and we'll see you in February.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good news.
Now.
Listen, gentlemen, I could not be more excited about the future of Milestone.
Oh, hey, Mark.
And I'm so glad you asked me to marry a panel where I get to get all of this new information. I heard it first. But listen, thank you so much to everybody who showed up today. Thank you to Reggie Hudlin, to Dennis Cowan, to Jim Lee, to Phil Lamar, and thank you to the fans who have been stoking the flames and the fires for more Milestone for decades. So thank you so much to everybody. Be good.
That was a nice enough little section.
These are the best horses to have to corral.
Yeah, so next is
Batman.
Batman.
To see what DC has in store for Static Shock and the rest of the Milestone crew when it returns in February 2021. And now it's time for a little Ask and Tell. We have got more questions from our DC fans. Check it out.
Okay. Guess we're waiting a minute then.
Looking at the metaphor behind these characters, and I
he's not a bad cyborg.
For Vic, when it comes to mental health and mental illness,
at least to get to explore the character a bit more. Hopefully the Snyder cut fixes that issue for the movies.
That we are okay, and I kind of see that as the superhero. I see that as cyborg. I see that as, you know, the cover up that we will have as humans, period, to be able to essentially hide behind what we really are. And season 2 is testament to you know, when Vic goes out to try and work on himself and essentially tackle this PTSD and this mental health, he has to, you know,
yeah, I think the
literally come back and take away.
Doom Patrol is kind of like a breath of fresh air, and
access Vic and you know, Word 2 even having to turn off Grid.
DC
to be
Legends of
able to
Tomorrow is
access
kind of
that,
along the
that
same
point
lines,
of
but
yourself. And I feel like that's testament to us as human beings.
I feel like
Because how
Doom Patrol
generally
just
we
does
all
it
have
better.
this thing in which
Like
we
that
have
kind of
this
comedy.
facade in which, you know, when someone asks us, are you okay? And really you're not, but you say that anyway. The superhero that we try to put in front of the real version of us and everything that holds, you know, the real meaning of what it means to be a human, which is all of this craziness in which we experience.
Did
So,
you know that we receive over 28,000 questions from all over the world for DC fandom? We love our fans. And while we couldn't answer all of them, we sure did try to answer as many as possible.
yeah, I haven't seen Stargirl yet.
My
I've
question
been
is
hearing
for
good
Brick,
things.
and I'd like to ask, what was your first initial reaction seeing the Stargirl suit for the first time?
If anybody's seen it, let me know.
How cool was it?
The first time I ever put on my super suit, it was so empowering. Just like my posture changed.
Last
It was
Singer,
the first time I
Please
truly
Singer.
felt like Stargirl.
2 words your tried and true fan have been chanting. Snyder, cut. Coming up next,
So I'm
don't
here.
miss the latest intel surrounding the Snyder Cut's much anticipated release, direct from Zack Snyder himself.
Ooh,
Like
boy.
you, I'm quickly becoming big
It's weird
fan
because the
of
schedule
DC
thing said there'd be voices of the Batman on now.
only a great way to connect with other fans around the world. It's also a great escape from reality. And I think we can all agree that movies are one of the greatest escape of all time. Revoicing film make it possible for characters on screen to speak to audiences across the globe in a way that is unique to them.
Come on, Snyder good.
Okay, listen up and let's meet the many voices beyond the cowl.
There we go.
Commissioner Gordon!
What is it, O'Hara?
We just got a report. All the C-grade villains have broken into the energy plant. What are we gonna do, sir?
The only thing we ever do, flip the switch to the bat signal.
Salut, Freeze. Je suis Batman.
Escucha, soy Batman.
Hi, Bruce Wayne.
Cualquiera puede ser un héroe, también un hombre que hace algo tan simple como calmar y ponerle un abrigo en los hombros.
I wonder if you can hear that okay.
Después decirle que no era el
But a little bit more.
Sir, aren't you forgetting something?
Nope.
Your cowl,
Yeah, Will Arnett is good.
your armored face disguise.
Fine.
Who knew we'd see so many Lego movies?
Hi everyone, Will Arnett here. I'm here to talk to you about two of the most powerful words in the English language. I'm Batman.
Batman? Whoa!
You're darn right, whoa. Wow. I still get chills every time I say that. But you see,
You would.
here's the thing. Batman doesn't just speak English.
Soy Batman. Je suis Batman.
Ich bin Batman.
Man. Batman.
Batman speaks dozens and dozens and dozens of other languages thanks to voice actors from all over the world who have been dubbing Batman's voice ever since he first appeared on screen.
Tu n'es pas la seule à savoir tendre des pièges, ô Vénus.
Lo siento, mi oído de murciélago debe de estar fallándome.
That means in their countries, they are Batman.
Don't kill me, man!
Je ne vais pas te tuer. Tu vas me rendre un service. Fais ma publicité auprès de tes amis.
What are you?
Je suis Batman.
So let's meet some of these
Oh,
amazing
it's so strange.
actors from all over the world who, with their deep, dark voices, have been striking fear in the hearts of bad guys everywhere.
So the first time I was voice acting was at the age of 9 years old. It was the 3rd grade in school.
Someone suggested me that you have got a good language command, you have got a decent voice, so why don't you try voice acting? So I said, okay, let me give it a shot.
Você pensava palco com luz, com plateia, então aquilo ali era completamente o inverso do que eu estava pensando, assim.
Mas eu fui parar na dublagem 4 anos depois.
Well, the Batman's probably gotta be one of the easier characters to voice act as.
Que los personajes, los actores están hablando en español.
Every language has a tonality, a different way of taking pauses, speaking, speed.
I wonder if you listen to much Dio.
You have to concentrate all the emotions, all the things that happens while doing the scene.
As a voice actor, I didn't have to transform my body, but I have to find what is the best.
Now that would be funny to see a voice actor just bulk up just to voice act as Batman.
Straniero, se tu fai appena meno di quello che fa lui, non si incolla, non ci sta.
Et puis, je trouve que ce qui est difficile, c'est le rythme, c'est vraiment réussir à garder un naturel en se calquant sur le rythme d'un autre.
It's a good game.
Interpretar o reinterpretar, que es lo que hacemos en doblaje, a todos estos personajes icónicos que existen en nuestras vidas.
Tanto de caricaturas, de series, de televisión.
I know some people don't like it, but I thought Batman vs Superman was brilliant.
Porque de repente te toca hacer un doblaje de un personaje.
It's like when everything, all the other superhero movies at that time were basically the same.
Universal, né? Se você botar aquele símbolo do Batman em qualquer lugar do mundo, do universo, todo mundo vai saber o que é, né?
What appeals to me and a lot of Batman fans over the world is that the fact that Batman has a very dark side.
Batman is much deeper, he's darker, it stays a mystery all the time.
Who is this guy?
I don't know.
I always love this rich guy who put his fortune for the justice. I always love that.
Utilizar todo eso a favor de la justicia, eso me parecía.
Yeah, mi parecía lo más
con el que yo más identificado me sentía.
Il mio rapporto con Batman in gioventù è stata una cosa fantastica perché io vivevo con Batman, aspettavo che arrivasse in edicola per andare a prenderlo e a leggerlo.
Para mí como niño explotó en la cabeza al ver en la televisión al señor que yo estaba leyendo acá, era algo mágico, fantástico.
C'est vrai que bon bah voilà, c'est pas tous les jours qu'on nous offre
So we're looking at
de ce type-là.
They asked me, "Are you free next week? We have a new
15 more minutes, 14 more minutes, and we'll have
and it said
the Snyder Cut.
I said, "Wow, great."
Whatever you do, wherever you go, I'm watching you.
More Batfleck.
I'm insane.
मैंने तुम्हें गौतम के आर्खम पागल खाने में भेजने का इंतजाम किया है। वहां भी मेरे कुछ दोस्त हैं जिन्हें तुम्हारा इंतजार है।
I started doing individual characters, and one fine day, finally in around 2005, I got something for which
Sounds good.
I'm being interviewed by you today. And I tasted a real flavor of fame after the release of the magnum opus named Batman. That was when I became a very big fan of Batman, and he teaches me a lot, I get to learn so many things. The best part of voice acting, if I'm
He's just going around beating up people on the streets.
Such a huge personality, I have to just be closer to him, as close as possible. The subtlety
Definitely does. He wears capes, goes down the streets.
In Hollywood, you have to be exactly the same note. You don't have to be more melodramatic. And once you see the scene, you just have to copy him. And if you are successful in that, it's done. When the guy played my recording, I had a goosebumps. It was unbelievable. I said, is it my voice? And I was happy. I was convinced that I've done a good job.
Bruce Wayne es un playboy millonario, debe ser la voz de alguien que, por ejemplo, si una señorita se lo encuentra en una fiesta, se sienta seducida por él.
Bruce Wayne wear a bigger mask for me than the Batman, so this voice, this animal voice, is the real character for me. So I found it more difficult to adapt the Bruce Wayne than Batman.
Salve, Bruce Wayne, miliardario, giramondo, viveur, playboy, scapolo d'oro di Gotham per tipo 90 anni di
That suits him.
I know who you are, Mr. Wayne.
Non ne dubito.
He has to adapt to the society. He has to adapt to the people surrounding him. Batman can act absolutely alone.
É tipo assim, Eu sou Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Eu sou Batman.
Il pubblico è molto attratto dalla voce di Batman, soprattutto qui in Italia.
I can't wait to see Michael Keaton back in the suit.
Batman's voice is as
Or
much,
even just as Bruce Wayne.
is as important as his physicality, if not more, actually, because you don't get the humor by watching just the costume.
Batman is a mystery.
Yeah, Dio's back.
Like I said, he is God. He's a human, and he's also a
holy diver.
तुम वही कायर हो जिसने मार्था और थॉमस वेन का खून किया था.
That was a lifetime ago.
मेरी उम्र. तुमने कुछ नहीं सोचा, बस बेरहमी से उन्हें मार डाला. चिल.
How do you know this? How could you possibly?
मैं जानता हूँ क्योंकि मैंने ये सब होते देखा. मैं ये जानता हूँ क्योंकि मैं उस आदमी का बेटा हूँ जिसे तुमने मार डाला. मैं हूँ ब्रूस वेन.
Lo más desafiante cuando doblé el Batman de Christian Bale eran las escenas donde él gritaba y se enojaba mucho.
The way Christopher Nolan wrote his movies, design a Batman much more real.
I love that comedy Batman when he's testing out the different Batman voices.
All the complexity of the character.
The character of Christian Bale was struggling to become this guy, and this guy in the movie.
Ele é bom ator, excelente ator, né? Ele se dedica muito aos personagens que ele faz.
Too dedicated, some might say.
Que marca, né? Acho que é o estilo único
Some
dele.
lighting men might say.
E eu também sempre busquei o meu estilo na dublagem, né?
Un icono, ¿cómo habla? No habla como un ser humano. Entonces, la voz que creo y la voz que han aplicado los demás Batman, aparte de trabajarla yo desde el pecho y desde la garganta.
Keaton le dio una cualidad a la voz que fue, pero esta cosa de hacerlo diferente, para que no le reconocieran la voz ni siquiera a Bruce Wayne. Y el Batman de Affleck, lo que sucede es que tiene una cosa tecnológica,
It's a good idea to do that.
Que le cambia la voz para que no lo reconozcan.
Electronic
Entonces,
voice.
lo que hice con eso fue bajar mi voz a todos los graves, mis más graves posibles.
Next time they shine your light in the sky, don't go to it.
Tell me, do you bleed?
Bury it.
You
Consider this
will.
mercy.
Superman has no time for your dumb questions.
The way he speaks and the way he interacts with other characters, he's always like.
Never actually seen somebody with the name Picard before, so that's a new
never
one.
gets nervous, or at least it seems.
Batman!
Yeah.
Why did you build this thing with only one seat?
Porque que yo sepa solo tengo un culo. ¿Pero qué? What have you done to Wayne Manor?
Fíjate si sería fan de los cómics, que yo con mis primeros sueldos de actor de doblaje, lo primero que hacía antes de llegar a casa era parar en un kiosco o en una tienda y comprar un cómic de Batman.
Nice.
Para mí fue como, era el héroe de mi infancia, ¿no? Hay una cosa con la que yo conecté con Bruce Wayne, con Batman, que
And
era
then
su
he was
deseo de
beaten
justicia.
by his missus for
Es
wasting
inherente al
them.
ser humano el deseo de justicia, ¿no? De luchar a favor del oprimido o de impartir justicia y de que las cosas se hagan bien, ¿no? De que los malos no se salgan siempre.
Nearly there now.
Nosotros en el doblaje, para cada uno de los Batman, de Christian
7
Bale,
minutes
Ben Affleck,
remaining.
todos los demás, lo que hacemos es meternos en el original. Ben Affleck es otra forma de hacer Batman, es un enorme que transmite otro tipo de sensaciones diferentes a la que transmite Christian Bale, que hizo una creación
works.
desde luego icónica, ¿no? Para el mundo del cine.
That Batman being that big, it's like the
El modo
Frank
diferencial
Miller
es
Dark
ser muy
Knight.
fiel al actor original, pero recuerdo ir al cine temblando como un niño.
I don't know why they
O sea,
told
era como,
Christian Bale
necesito
to
vivirlo, necesito
trim down a
la
bit.
película, necesito supervisar cada detalle, pero yo soy muy perfeccionista.
Doppiare per un videogioco o doppiare un attore o comunque un cartone animato è molto
It's playing
diverso.
just the whole
Jeux
time.
vidéo, il y a beaucoup plus de travail à fournir, beaucoup plus de...
Lavoriamo sulla forma d'onda, per cui a quel punto ci dobbiamo assolutamente fidare della voce originale, in questo caso americana, e riprodurre esattamente quello che l'attore americano.
When I heard the voice of Kevin Conroy, it's the moment when you are in the studio and the first time you hear the voice, you see the character, something happens inside your body.
Superman ist hinter Gittern. Letztendlich führen ihn seine guten Absichten auf einen Pfad der Tyrannei und des Bösen.
It's just a great storyline.
Unser größter Held. Plötzlich unsere größte Bedrohung.
And the way they did Brainiac in that game looked fantastic. Pretty sure it's why
You don't have the nuances that you have in a living character because the animation
the one in Krypton looks so good.
very kind of straight. There's no hesitation. It's jumping much more in your face. It's much more fun to do animations because you go to the extreme.
Do you want to talk about how you're feeling right now?
J'ai rien à dire sur les émotions, Alfred. Je n'en ai pas et je n'en ai jamais eu de ma vie.
Justiciero de la noche que lucha contra il crimen y una macchina de rapear heavy metal.
Io non provo nessuna emozione a parte la rabbia. H24, 12 mesi all'anno, a 1.000.000%.
And if you think that there's something behind that, then you're crazy. Good night, Alfred.
Sir, it's morning.
That was well done.
The Lego movie was one of the
5
funniest
minutes.
experience of all my career. I never had so much fun in my life.
The screenplay and Will Arnett's talents brought back the humor that was present in the original TV series. That sort of tongue-in-cheek humor, lots of puns, lots of jokes.
This is really uncomfortable.
Sorry, my shoes are part of my pants.
You've got to have the buttons. I love them.
El Batman de Gran Aventura Lego 1 y 2 es muy diferente, pero la verdad la 1 y 2 es muy divertida. Entonces es como jugarlo más, tienes que sentirte un poco más libre, ¿no? De hacer tu...
Yeah, that was great when they were showing all the different bat suits, like the Rastafarian one.
Primero, el trabajo que hizo Will Arnett es espectacular. Hacer siempre un Batman serio y poder hacer a un Batman que se ríe de Batman, que se ríe de sus miedos, de sus inseguridades, que se vuelve
Just while they're talking, that
patoso.
the Suicide Squad section for the new James Gunn movie, that looked really good.
I'm here to see your butt.
Is that last name Bud, first name yours? Oh my gosh!
Y los Lego Batman fue como, vamos a reírnos, vamos a divertirnos. Fue eso, poder reírte hasta de ti mismo, ¿no? Fue liberador.
Okay.
Aver contribuito alla Batman Legacy mi
Final countdown.
mi riempie di orgoglio.
Il y a quelque chose de l'enfance là-dedans, quoi. De dire, oh, je suis pris pour faire Batman.
Where can I get those wonderful toys? Love that.
From my childhood to my adult life.
Lo debo decir como lo siento y es un gran orgullo, es una de las cosas más bonitas que me han ocurrido a nivel profesional.
So Batman will be always close to my heart because Batman is one of the best character in my life. I'm a bit emotional now.
Es maravilloso.
Because Batman doesn't have parents.
Y de DC Fandom el día de hoy, yo creo que vamos a estar muy emocionados todos viendo a mis compañeros actores.
That's why I have a lot more respect for Alfred, because he puts up with his crap the whole time.
Into the limelight, where people come to know this is the voice of Batman from India, from different countries. This is the appreciation coming back to us. So I feel great.
Uma coisa que marca, você não deixa de ter dublado o personagem, né? As pessoas vão sempre lembrar de você como o Batman.
As an actor, I'm so grateful to have been in this adventure.
Goodbye, Batman. Just get a bit more coffee now before the Snyder Cut.
I'm Batman! Hey!
That wasn't bad. With a little audio mixing and some luck, maybe they'll cast me as the Italian Robert Pattinson in the next film.
You could see that.
Coming up, we have another WB Games debut, and we are talking to Matt Reeves, director of The Batman.
Ooh. What's all this then? Nice. That's just like my Superman tattoo. I'll probably be getting more of those, so. Maybe after this year would be a good idea. Yes, here we go.
Hi everyone, the Brazilians are back in the house, and let me just say that you guys, I mean, the best, are the best. I love everything and incredible stuff. I can't wait to see more from these super talented fans.
Well, me too, Aline. Now, speaking of DC's fans, since 2017, you have been demanding the release of Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, of course. Your friends at HBO Max heard you and look for it in 2021.
I know, but
And then first, like, that opening scene with Ben Affleck's Batman was one of the best image of Batman put to live action.
And some special guests, as well as some of the fans who helped bring this DC dream come to life.
Ready? Okay, let's go.
Yes, we're ready, just... It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, because...
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. It's awesome to be here at DC Fandome. This is amazing. It's been quite a journey with the DC fans, and I've had a great time bringing some of these beloved DC titles to the big screen. And the Justice
we've
League
loved watching them.
is, for me, and in this format, an amazing crown jewel. As a community, you were able to make this thing happen, and we really appreciate it. We're going to shake it up a little bit for this panel, and I'm going to have some fans ask me questions. I'm going to ask some people questions. We're going to have special guests, so let's get to it.
And then trailer.
We have some questions from fans read to us by some of the amazing cast of Justice League. Looks like next we have Batman, my Batman. Go ahead, man. What do you got?
I hope you guys are enjoying DC Fandome. And I'm really excited for you to get a chance to see
Hell
Zack's
yeah.
ultimate version of Justice League on HBO Max next year.
Well, thank you, Ben. I'm excited for everyone to see the film as well. It's cool. What questions do you have?
Long time coming.
Mendoza wants to know, who is your favorite superhero of all time? You know the answer to that, but go ahead and answer anyway.
I guess my favorite hero of all time, other than Batman, would have to be, sort of staying in the DC world as I do, it's got to be Dr. Manhattan, from Watchmen. I think, I don't know, for me, he's like this super cool quantum superhero whose time, space, reality, all those things are at his fingertips.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's got to be Dr. Manhattan. That was awesome, Ben. Thank you so much. That was cool, and appreciate you stopping by. I think next, is it Superman?
Hello, everybody. My name is Henry Cavill, and I promise you that I am not in prison. This is just my place of work. I hope you're enjoying DC
Which
Fandom,
happens
and I have
to be a
fan
person.
question for Zack Snyder from Swapnil. As a storyteller, what is the dynamic between the Justice League that is important for you to present on the screen? Zack, over to you.
It's a great question, and thank you so much. I
Over.
think the important thing for me to see as the Justice League comes together is this idea that like a lot of them basically are loners, right? You have Batman, lives in a cave. His only buddy is Alfred, really. You got Wonder Woman.
I'll probably up the
after
volume a bit
Steve's
as well when it comes to the
demise,
trailer.
She's been kind
If
of
they
keeping
play
quiet. You have Flash, who's got these powers.
some
He's
sneak
kind of
scenes.
alone in the world. And you have Cyborg, who,
Maybe.
you know, in a lot of ways, is not really happy about what's happened to him, this transformation. He's coming to terms with it. And then you have Aquaman, who also is this loner. And sort of thematically, them coming together and forming a family and finding in each other support. I think that's really what, in the end, drove me to want to see this happen or see them come together. And I think that when you take all these different personalities and bring them together into a single cohesive group,
I mean, my biggest problem with the Whedon version was more that it was just
all right, let's see, who do we have next?
another spoon-fed movie.
Hey, Zach.
Like it could have just fit in with any Marvel one.
Ray Fisher here.
So hopefully this is a bit
I am
different.
super excited about the Snyder Cut getting dropped on HBO Max. And there's some folks who have a couple questions for you. The first question is coming from Eddie Gordon from the United States. And that question is, which character are you most excited to fully flesh out in your cut of
Well, obviously that's Cyborg, because he said
You
that.
should ask me that, because of course it's Cyborg. Cyborg is the heart of the movie. Cyborg is the thing that I think in the end holds the team together in a lot of ways. And excited to see, or for fans to see, just how that is realized on camera.
And the second question is coming in from Irfan Kam from the United Kingdom. And their question is, when you started writing Justice League, what thematic ideas were you most excited to tackle?
Oh, this chair is
Additionally,
uncomfortable.
How much of a challenge was it to keep the tone mythological? I want to know too, so make sure you get up on those.
It's a great question. When Chris and I were talking about this movie, I think we're big fans of sort of the Joseph Campbellian, you know, hero's journey, and also this notion that we would be creating a team. It's the Knights of the
Putting
Round
the band
Table
back
joining together in an epic adventure, and this is the call to action film that brings them as a story that brings them all together. And I think it is a mythological concept to begin with. So keeping it mythological, and especially when you think about it's Aquaman, it's Wonder Woman,
I wonder what's going to
Flash,
happen
Cyborg, and then Superman.
after this.
You're really talking about a mythological group, you know. Okay, this is fun. Let's keep them coming. Who else? I think next is the Flash himself.
Mr. Maestro Zack Snyder, I mean, what other questions can we ask? I think we'd all like to know if we'll see more of the handsome and talented Ezra Miller in your cut.
I like the question, Ezra. No agenda at all. Very good. Of course, you're going to see tons more of the Flash. I have a huge
Let's see where he
love
saves
for the
ours
Flash
should be
and
in it.
for Ezra Miller, as you know, especially when you call me at the last second and make me come work on your music videos in the desert. That's really kind of you. So, but yes, of course, Ezra. I think people are going to see a lot more of the Flash, and they're
Didn't know he did music videos.
get to see a little bit more of his emotional arc, and I hope they enjoy it, because I enjoy seeing you, especially in this format. Okay, looks like we've got we've got something from Wonder Woman herself, Gal Gadot.
Zach, when you cast me in the role of Wonder Woman, I had no idea what an amazing ride I was in for. It's been life-changing to play this character, mostly
I'm not going near that with a joke.
to meet so many incredible fans around the world who love her like we do. Fans who I hope are all sharing this experience today, because it's all happening because of you. So to all the fans who
I wonder will
asked
they
for
give
this cut, you
an update on
obviously
HBO
have
Max?
your own superpowers, because
I don't
just
know
like the members
when that's
of
getting released in
Justice
Europe.
League, you are stronger together. And you made this possible. So thank you. I love you.
Thanks, Gal. I can't wait for fans to see you in Wonder Woman 84, which is an amazing movie, and you are amazing in it. And Patty, of course, did an amazing job. So you guys are an awesome team, and people's minds are going to be blown when they see that. So thanks again. That was great. All right, let's see. Who do we have next?
No more questions. Move on.
And everybody in the Justice League crew. I have a question. So, as somebody who is so very excited to get to see your vision of Justice League and that you're finally getting this chance to really show us the film that was always intended and one that we're all so super excited to see, I wanted to know, probably what everybody wants to know is, can you hint something that the world has never seen, that you have been so excited to let us all get a glimpse at without too many spoilers?
Okay.
Spoil away.
How do I do this without giving too many spoilers? You're going to see something with Flash in this film I don't think that you've ever seen before. Something that has to do with his abilities, because he's a quantum character. He interacts with time and space, so you might see him do something that is timely. But awesome, Patty. Awesome question, and it's awesome to see you. All right, let's move along, shall we? And I think I want to ask some questions. So let's get
that's probably going back
people
to
on the line if we can.
Batman vs Superman.
There's some super fans we have standing by, I see. One of them is Fiona from China. She is dear to our hearts. She was one of the founding members of the Snyder Cut movement and really instrumental in bringing it to all of us. So
maybe he gets to the point where his lightning goes yellow.
And his studio, it's like a dream come true.
I'm going to ask you some questions. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
First off was, what about this movement and the Snyder Cut and the whole thing? What was the thing that got you to say, like, hey, you know what? I got to, get involved with this?
After I saw Batman with Superman in theaters 4 years ago in China, I was blown away. After watching Justice League, it was immediately clear that many parts of the film were not consistent with your usual filmmaking style. So we are the fans. We knew that there was a real version of the film out there. We started asking for it. Why not? We started a petition, if you remember, that reached to 180K people signed. Then I think it's not enough. So I created a website called forsnydercut.com that allowed us to start doing some online and real-world events, such as Twitter trends, raising money for AFSP, letter writing, and phone calls to Warner Brothers. Now, here we are.
I don't know how long this is supposed to be, actually.
Wow. And look what happened. You guys did it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
54, so there's not a whole lot longer left, so hopefully we get to see something now in a minute.
When it got closer.
It all started with hope and dream. So many moments, I think, never go beyond that. To actually achieve a dream, you need organization and selflessness. Then we have a team who put a billboard in Times Square.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think you remember that.
Yeah. Fantastic.
When you see all these people, when you fight alongside such talented and generous people, you know it's not possible. It's a certainty.
Yeah.
Even we had many obstacles, but we know we will win this.
Yeah, it's fun. I always thought it was funny that the scale started to
Didn't
get
think
bigger
it'd
and
happen.
bigger, and we would notice oh my gosh. And at first, remember, because it was like a bus stop in Comic-Con and then a billboard in Times Square, and then on the anniversary of Justice League, and it just goes completely nuts.
So
and everyone's
just
like,
checking again what's on again tomorrow.
Rolling with a big snowball.
Yeah, a giant snowball. No, yeah. What was your favorite moment for you in the whole experience?
Okay, they're all
I
on.
think my answer to this question evolved. I started out because I admire you. I love you. I want to fight for you and your works. But as time passed, I became just much about fighting alongside my fellow community members. It's power from art, mostly. Power from your art. You empowered us.
Well, that's amazing and kind. And well, it's amazing to see you, and thank you so much for connecting with us.
Okay, so I can catch
can't
the
wait
Black
to go
Adam
to
on around
China.
3 tomorrow, so that's what I'll do instead of staying on to watch it.
So see you.
Yep, see you soon. Thank you, Fiona. Okay, we have another call
Well, if I'm not doing anything
from
else.
Dexter, another amazing friend and another amazing fan who also was super important in the creation and cultivation of this movement. He's been around for a long time and really making this happen. So let's talk to Dexter. Dexter.
Hi. How are you, my friend?
Awesome. I'm glad you came. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Great to see you as well.
So I got you on the spot because I want to ask you a couple questions. So I guess the first question is, what are your initial thoughts and where were you when you first heard about the Snyder Cut movement, or how did it come on your radar?
Yeah, well, it was very early on. I'll tell you, right after the viewing of the theatrical edition, I went to the internet and I felt that I couldn't be the only one that felt a certain way. So after maybe a few weekends, I had a few chats with
That's
a few
pretty
people,
much an army
and,
of people.
Yeah, it kind of fell into my lap, and I said, this is something that I can really get behind. And I did what I could in order to try to help. And here I am, multiple years later, still trying to be a forefront of this whole thing to help you guys out. And thankfully, it's been a positive turn of events.
Yeah, like
And a
how
journey.
crazy is it that, like I was saying the other day, I shot the movie in 2016. Like that's when I was on set shooting, and here we are in 2021, and well, coming up to, and that's when the movie's going to come out, and seems impossible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So to that, when you started in this movement, did you think there
This
was
is a bit
chance
mad
that
already.
that they would do this?
That's a really great question. Early on, I had high hopes about it. And I think it was just because of my ignorance on how the industry worked. Toward, a quarter into it, I kind of said, well, we're not really speaking their language. How can we get them to want to do this for us? I think that's the key, and what made it really happen is just the fact that they saw that there were so many people that really wanted to stand behind the artistry of it all, the artists, and the integrity of it. And yeah, here we are.
I always felt like when I was sort of observing this movement, in a lot of ways, for fans, the way the comic book calendar is set up, it'd be like, oh, the anniversary of the release, or a Comic-Con, or a Brazil Comic-Con, or New York Comic-Con, and you guys just always kind of using those events as like a springboard, because you're like, look, we got something to say. So it always felt like.
Yeah, it was tough coming up with those things at times. It really was. We would
I thought it wasn't going to happen at all.
Zoom calls and phone calls and WhatsApp messages, really trying to come up with what can we do next? We're thinking about our next event. And then when you kind of give us a little hint or a little something to play along with, and it just really, really ignited us to continue on. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that for me
Okay,
was
so I think we're running.
It was cool to have this kind of conversation.
It's starting to get a bit short on time, so hopefully this just
either release an image or just say something and just get this response.
Probably more than a few images.
Feel this kind of energy exchange.
Images that are moving with sound.
Really exciting. Do you have a favorite moment from this experience?
I think my favorite moment so far is getting the opportunity to fly out to your event in Pasadena. The Director's Cut weekend was such a memorable event for me and my sons, and something I will always cherish with me. One of the other things I was just really, really excited to see, and this is just me, and I don't want to make things heavy, but just the opportunity to see the smile on yours and Debbie's face when it was official. It was just really heartwarming to me, and honestly, I did tear up a little bit. I will admit, I teared up a little bit, but it's just because it was just a lot of work that paid off, and I'm just excited to see that you guys were really, really happy.
Well, I got to admit that we also, when we heard the news, we all got pretty emotional, and it's been an incredible journey. And for us, one of the amazing parts is that we were able to,
it's a pretty long journey.
Interact with and be part of this fan community.
Actually, Zack Snyder's next movie, the zombie one, that might be okay as well.
Changed us and made us, really great.
And I will say Watchmen. The first time I saw it, I wasn't keen on it, but
also, frankly, feeling the incredible.
I watched it the second or third time. I actually started to really enjoy it then.
Experience, when we see these fan generated.
It's actually the extended cut was the first one I properly enjoyed.
With selling a movie or doing anything that has to do with commerce, it's really for love. and we feel it. And also the amazing charitable work that you guys, the amount of money you've raised for suicide prevention is just unbelievable. So again, thank you so much.
Will they show Green Lantern?
We couldn't thank you enough. So Dexter, thanks.
Thank you so much. It's been our pleasure. We appreciate it.
No more
It's
questions.
cool to interact with the fans and get to talk about this this journey that we've been on, because it has been something quite amazing. Maybe I should talk for a second about how you guys are going to see the movie and what format we're going to have it in. It's going to be in 4 parts, 1 hour each. So 4 hours of Justice League is coming your way.
Okay.
We're going to
Less than I was expecting.
bundling
Still
it
good.
together at the end, so you can watch it as a single film if that's the way you want to experience it. Also, to all my international fans and everyone watching all over the world, don't worry if you don't have HBO Max, because we're working on a distribution plan. So I promise you're going to get a chance to see it.
Brilliant.
If you guys haven't gotten your T-shirt yet, there's still hope. If you go to Ink to the People, you can get your associate producer shirt, and I want you guys. It all goes to a good cause, so please go grab a shirt if you can. I guess it's time to play the little teaser.
Yes.
That's why you're really here, to see some footage from the movie, as I promised. So why don't we?
If I had a tail, it would be wagging right now.
Here it is, Justice League.
Nice. Oh. Yeah, it's good to get all those scenes back in. Black suit. There we go. I see it. When did he burn the shoes off and stuff when he was running?
It wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I've told the truth. I didn't come to fool you.
Darkseid looks beast. Oh. I just got shivers. Guys, keeping the blacks.
This guy's probably fought hundreds of thousands of other super beings on the other planets he's destroyed, right? And we have to assume he's won.
I don't care how many demons he's fought and how many hells. He's never fought us. Not us united.
Zack Snyder, man.
That was worth it. I mean, I've watched the original at least 20 times, so to finally get the original version is going to be awesome. And so I guess on the note of watching all the little pets there, I'll call it quits, and I will hopefully be back on tomorrow with maybe the Black Adam panel and some stuff like that. So just let you watch these pets, and then I will be signing off. That little bin. I know I said I wasn't going to watch these, but they're here now, so. And thanks for watching. catch a tune. Alright, enjoy your evening.
Respawn in 3, 2, 1.